All right, before we even get started, I want to say thank you guys for watching. And I'm trying to get this channel back in the good graces of YouTube after not posting for like a month. So if you could leave a comment, that'd be super helpful. Let me know whether you think art is mostly natural talent or whether you think it's mostly about practice and dedication. Let me know. See you guys. I'm going to keep walking, so we'll come back to that. But I'm really just looking for anything interesting. Green, everything's green. Be okay. We'll find something. And I hope the audio is better this time because I brought a microphone, so that's good. Let's see. More green, more green. Maybe we'll just have to work with green today, I guess. I'm not opposed to green, but where's my orange at? You know what I mean? Where's my blue at? That's what I'm looking for. Is that a coconut? Oh my goodness, there's coconuts on the ground. That's interesting. That's interesting. Are you painting a coconut? Maybe. Maybe. Let's see. This is very calm. Very chill. Oh, there's water. Okay. That's a good sign. It's a great sign. Okay, something down here looks kind of interesting, but also like pretty complicated. Hold on. I'm gonna put my bag down and show you guys here in a second. Flip the camera. That looks kind of majestic, but also like a pain and a very high contrast, like 3-value scene. So I don't know if that's the direction we're gonna go. I see something off in the distance that I might paint. So let's go walk to that and let's see. Whew. So this is really what a lot of plein air painting is. Oh, there's some critters. This is really what a lot of plein air painting is walking around parks and looking strange and trying to find somewhere to paint. Let's see. I think I have an idea. We're gonna come up on it. Oops. Here in a second. But let's see. I think I found my spot. There's a lot going on here, but I think if I focus on this composition, everything kind of looks like it makes sense. And also there's people occasionally that walk, they don't walk here, sorry. They walk on the ground down here. So maybe I can work a figure in, so that'd be nice. Yeah. On my side, everything looks very like light and dark, like stark. But I hope for you guys it might be a little bit different. Hopefully, we'll see. I'll have to edit things up, but yeah, we'll see. Let's get this set up. I guess I'll keep this real time too. Let's see. There we go. That looks good. Plop that right there. This is my stool. As small as this stool is, it actually is really helpful in doing this kind of stuff. This little camping tripod stool. We have paint. We have my water, my sketchbook, and then my brushes. Here we go. That's all we need. So for paints, I'm still going with the same palette as usual. You can check out that video if you are interested. Sketchbook, we got the same Moleskine A6. This random handful of brushes. And this cup that came with my palette. There we go. Grab this side down. I think somebody might be cutting the grass here in a second, so maybe we'll have to get up, but we'll see. Okay, there we go. So we're just going to get started. I am not exactly sure what I'm going to title this video, but I know I wanted it to be something talking about loneliness. I actually had a friend of the channel. We had Oslim. I think that's how you pronounce her name. They asked if I could talk about it, and I honestly had been thinking about making a video about loneliness and art and stuff like that, but I just never pulled the trigger. But I guess today is the day. So I guess, where do we start? I guess, okay. So I feel sometimes, and it's hard to know whether it's, well, I'll just say it and then we'll talk. Sometimes I feel like artists or people that have like artistic inclinations or anything like that tend to be more, tend to have more of that lonely sort of isolative sort of thing to them. But it's hard to tell if that's the cause or if that's the result, if you know what I'm saying. It's hard to tell if, being artistic like leads you to kind of isolating sort of tendencies or like things like that, or if being sort of a introverted, I hate that word, I hate that word, but being sort of a to yourselfer, that's a better word. Being a to yourselfer, if that leads you to like pursuing artistic sort of aspirations. This power line is super complicated. We'll just do it quickly like this. And yeah, so I feel like it's, at the very least, we can safely say those two things are relatively related. Through some sort of means, whether it be cause and effect or, they're somewhat related. And I personally have dealt with that a lot. So I think, I guess we could just talk about my personal life. That sounds like fun. Just kidding. The first time I really remember feeling like super lonely was the year that we moved. So I'm sure this is something I've talked about a lot in my videos, but during high school, like in the middle of sophomore year, I think it was, I moved schools from my hometown, from a town that I had lived in for like since I was 5, to a bigger sort of place with more students and different sorts of students, different like, it was just a much more diverse school and a much like different situation. And so I think that's the first time I ever felt lonely, because I had felt bad before, right? Like I had always felt like kind of weird and like, I don't know, very pessimistic, right? Like that was one of my key traits. Like if you were to look at me back in like middle school and early high school, one of my key things was I was very pessimistic. negative, and whatever. And it's funny. I used to think that was like a good thing. I used to think it was good to be like negative and pessimistic and upset all the time, which is so stupid, so stupid. What was I saying? What was I saying? Okay, yeah. So it's sophomore year of high school, and we move quite a ways away from my hometown into a different state with different kinds of people. And so that's really the first time I remember ever feeling like, man, it really is me versus like, it's like me versus people. You know what I mean? Like, I think at the old school, at my hometown when I felt comfortable, it was like I was just working my way into different friend groups and like talking to different kinds of people and doing all this stuff. But once I moved, it really felt like, okay, it's me versus these people. I'm definitely not cool with them. Definitely not my friends. But it wasn't like that immediately. It really was like after trying for a little bit and not seeing any like real success that I sort of turned to like, um, not turn, it's not like the dark side, but I don't know how to explain it. Um, it didn't turn. It was just like a kind of a progression towards, okay, um, I'm going to be more self sufficient. That's really what it was. And that works for a while. Like, that's pretty safe. It's pretty good. It seems good, I'll say that. Kind of isolating and just like fulfilling yourself by yourself, I guess. Like being your own friend, that works for a while. That's pretty good. That's good enough to get you through 2 years of high school, I'd say. But at some point, right, you start to realize, like, regardless. Let's zoom out a little bit. We're gonna go in with a green for the base, and then work our way all through this painting. I think a purple is gonna be nice. That's one way we can kind of offset the green. I think is working purple and blues and stuff into the shadows and down here. But what I was gonna say is, you start to notice. Oh, and this was during COVID too. So like it started before COVID. Can I say that? It started before the big sea blast, and then it kept going throughout that. I think it almost only got worse during the sea blast. Um, like my sort of, I think everybody had this, the sort of tendency to just be self-sufficient in that sort of way. And so yeah, so I'm what? At that age, I was probably 18, trying to do all this other stuff on my own, starting painting, starting art, and then yeah, I think art really came in and really like gave me something to focus on that wasn't like so self. I mean, art is all self-concerned, to be honest with you. Well, most of it, but it just was something that wasn't so like conscious about my own state. I'll say that. So yeah, I keep doing art, and eventually I start to like get better at painting. I enjoy it, but then you start to get better. You start to like not. You start to realize that being a sort of like um, lone ranger or whatever it is isn't really that cool. Like it's cool for a little bit, but ultimately you need relationships, and people need others to bounce off of. I think almost no matter how Lone Ranger you are, or how Clint Eastwood you are, or how Ronin, uh, if you get that reference, you are, or how samurai you are, or how I don't know. I just use those because that's what I really delved into. But like, no matter how stoic, how artistic, how Lone Ranger, how weirdo you are, you like need relationships. And so yeah, that's one thing. We can zoom back in. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, you need relationships, right? You need relationships. Everybody, unless you literally, actually, factually hate everyone and you have genuine disdain in a deep negative way, then you might not need relationships. But if you're someone who like empathizes with people and feels for other people and like genuinely wants to, you know, be a part of something, you need relationships. And the issue a lot of times is that if you're already in this sort of um, if you're already in this sort of there you go, how do I put it, like if you're already in this world of self where you don't have too many other people to be worried about and you're not concerned with too many other things besides your own uh, state, when you do feel the need to have those relationships and you do feel like you need someone else, they're not there and it's almost too late. So like I would find myself in these waves, right? I've spoken about this before, but I would consistently find myself in these waves of like, where are my friends? You know what I mean? Like, I should have friends. You know, I'm 19, not now, but back then, I'm thinking, I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm 19. I'm a good looking fella. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. You know, but I'm just thinking, like, I'm 19. I'm like doing certain things right. You know, I'm in school doing all this stuff. Like, where are my homies? You know, like, where are my day one friends? Where am I, like, you know, all this stuff. I'm just thinking, almost like it's owed to me, you know? Almost like you're owed anything, you know? And then that kind of sours your relationship with, like, the universe or God in my case, or, you know, that kind of sours your relationship because then you're thinking that, like, you're owed something, right? And it's not there for you. But in reality, right, um, the fact of the matter is, once you realize you're like alone and you like need someone to get you out of it, there's no one there because you didn't build it. Like it's not there. It just won't be there. So I would find myself in these. Man, did not think this video would be so self-centered. Okay, let me. Um, well, we'll get around. I'll get around to talking about other things. But because this is the title of the video, we're gonna get to this first. You know, we're not gonna. We're just gonna make this value all the same for right now. For right now, just get an idea. What was I saying? Self-centered. Yeah. Once you realize you need people, like they're not gonna be there because you didn't spend any time bringing them. Like it makes no sense. But I certainly spent a lot of time, like multiple years, thinking that way of like, where are my friends? Where am I? Like, I should have friends. I should have people that are like here for me. People should care about me for some reason. So yeah, you spend time like that, you know, as we all do, as all. I'm just kidding, but yeah, it's pretty rough being in that sort of like self pity and self. But the idea I think that I'm starting to come to is that you have to, and I'm not a big fan of the phrase like fake it till you make it, but like you kind of have to build up stock, you know? Like, oh, okay, I remember what I was saying, and we'll come back and it'll all make sense. What I was saying is that I would find myself in these waves, right? So there'd be like a week or two where I was really happy being self sufficient and being like self reliant and not needing a bunch of people to be around me, and also like not really like feeling good about the fact that I don't have like a lot of people to keep happy and stuff like that, right? So that's like the positive of it. But then, just as easily, I have another 2 weeks which come, and they would come all the time, which are the exact opposite, which are like the whole, man, I wish I had like some homies around me or like some friends or like something around me. Um, and so like in, but the second you come out of that, then you're in the mood of like, oh well, you know what? It's probably good I don't have too many friends because then I would have to do all this for them and do this and be this and try to fake this and act like a different person and be this. And so you feel back to being good again. But then the 2 weeks come around again, and then you're back in the mood of, or I was back in the mood of, man, I wish I had friends. So like you just get yourself caught in this like cycle of useless self pity, and then exactly contrasted with, you know what, I'm good. I'm actually kind of a cool dude on my own. So I think that's. I am so sorry. I took off my jacket and I forgot my microphone is on my jacket. Okay, so let's see. What was I saying? Not fake it till you make it. I don't even remember where I was at. Okay, I think I was saying that when you need people, they won't be there if you haven't gotten them while you were in a good mood. There you go, concise. But if I was speaking to like my 18, 19-year-old self, who's at a community college, who is feeling like a little bit of an outcast, not even a little bit, a lot of bit of an outcast, and feeling like people are very difficult to talk to. You know what? Even with that, I was still trying. Um, I would just say push, push, just keep pushing, push at like, talking to people, give some resistance to feeling, so lonely. Don't just like let it swallow you. That's not very manly. That's not very Clint Eastwood, you know. But yeah, I would just say give some resistance to all that kind of stuff. Don't just let it. Try not to just let it swallow you. Try not to just let it swallow you, because I'm pretty sure it gladly will. Like, it doesn't take much to fall into stuff like that, especially for me. I think I've fallen into that stuff all the time. Okay, but what's the positive of all this? What's the positive? Um, I think that um, I think the positive is that if you do get to a point, right, where you both have friends and also don't always need them to be down your neck or don't always need them to be like right next to you, that's a very good spot, I think, because then, you have people when you need them, and then you also don't, uh, like, what's the word? You don't, like, overwhelm them. Like, you don't put your whole world on them because you've already kind of built like an inner world of like you're kind of cool, you're all right. These trees back here are much lighter. These trees on this side are much lighter. Yeah, these trees on this left side are much lighter. So we're gonna try and mix up something light and soft. Maybe more blue. But yeah, I would say the positive is that, if you are sort of uh, if you truly are like an introverted type, even though I don't like that word, if you truly do not need that much from people, it's still a great idea to have people. Like, it's still a tremendous idea to keep friends and to keep people around and to put work into it, because I will say, like, that's like, of all the things I put work into, right? you have like jobs, you have like church obligations, you have like school assignments, all this stuff. Out of all of that, the most rewarding, at least immediately in the immediate term, is like friendships. Like that's some of the most rewarding work you can do. At least at the moment for me, you know. I'm sure other people have other perspectives. But yeah, that's some of the most rewarding stuff you can do because you know you go to an event that you were nervous to go to in the first place, right? It's scary. So you have that investment, that initial like the initial skin of the game. There's a threat. There's a risk of being like people treat you weirdly. But then, right, if it works out and you like keep these friendships, then you have people that are literally like there for you. That's a pretty big like that's a pretty big that's a pretty big reward, I would say. It's a very big reward. You know, if you do an assignment, right? If you do a homework assignment, this isn't advocating for skipping out on your homework. If you're in school, if you're like in 8th grade or something, dude, do your homework, dude. Do your homework. But yeah, you do a homework assignment and then the next day there's another one. Like it's never ending. It's never ending. But if you just like plant a seed of like a friend, that's something you might not even have to like really, well, you have to water it, of course, but like it's a pleasant experience, you know, to water a friendship and to not be so alone. And if you notice, I'm sure you have noticed, all of my videos, almost every single one of them, I am the only person in them. Aside from some of the videos where like I'll paint a subject in it, or I'll paint like a someone walking by, or someone will talk to me occasionally. But in the early videos, it really was just me walking around painting. And that's what today is too, I guess. But I don't even know what I was trying to get at with that. But yeah, that's how it used to be. That's how like my life, the rest of my life used to be too, just kind of me walking around painting. But now there's a lot more, you know, and that's very good. It's very good. Okay, the value of this second layer of grass is way too dark right now, so we're gonna lighten it up and also yellow it out a little more because it is sort of a bluish yellow, but it's, I guess that's the green. It is sort of like a bluer green, but there is still some like, there we go. That looks good. That looks good. Let's think. What else? What else? What else? Another thing I would say that I've been thinking about and I was talking to other people about as well is the idea of like becoming, what's the word? Like when you start to idolize your shortcomings, that's something that I have done and continue to do, but I am continually trying not to do. So, like in the case of loneliness, right? That's something that is definitely not, um, no one really wants to be lonely. You might want to be alone, right? But nobody wants to be lonely. Um, and so that's something that I even personally like tried to make cool in my head. And I think a lot of people do that. I would imagine. I mean, you guys could leave comments and stuff. But it's almost like if you can't, or if you've tried and it doesn't work to fix something, the next best the next best way is just to like cope with it and just like make it not so bad you know? And that's almost like what that is. So like if you're dealing with loneliness, or you're dealing with like not feeling like you fit in, you might make that like cool in your head, like, oh, I'm like, dude, I'm like Kurt Cobain, dude. I'm Kurt Cobain, dude. Or you're like, I'm Clint Eastwood. That was always mine. I'm Clint Eastwood, dude. But then you realize, like, even these people who portrayed, not saying Kurt Cobain, I don't even know much about Kurt Cobain, but not saying any of these people did per se, but just the idea of like, even these people who you think are just like you, or they're struggling with the same things, they probably have friends too. Everyone needs friends. Everyone needs friends. So as hard as it might be, it's definitely worth the juice is worth the squeeze. I'll say that. The juice is most certainly worth the squeeze. At least for me, I'll say that. At least for me. We're coming to like, I would say maybe like the 75% point in this painting. I feel like I haven't really put any thought into this painting, and we're already kind of coming towards the end. But yeah, I feel very passionate about loneliness. Like that's something I really would love to help people through. I mean, once I fully get it solved, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like sorry, I had to correct myself in the way I said that. But once I fully get through it, I would love to do some sort of like mentoring or something for like I don't know, you maybe young adults or something like that. But I feel like it's becoming such a bad thing, such like a pervasive uh, situation. I don't even know how to explain it, but I think it really blew up during COVID, during the big sea blast. Well, sorry. But yeah, I feel like so many people are like struggling with that. Maybe not, but that's what I feel personally in my heart. Okay, we're gonna put some more highlights, and we're also gonna come back in because there's another tree that sits right here in the middle, and there's a lot of stuff actually still to paint. So we're close, but we still have quite a bit. And I like how faded the telephone pole looks, but we're gonna change the color, and yeah, we're gonna do all that. That should be fun. You know what? Let's do that right now. That looks really, really, really fun. If you're still watching this far, um, you should leave a comment, dude. That'd be really nice. Maybe okay, leave a comment telling me. Um, I'm gonna mix up this red brown. Leave a comment about a friendship you've made. There we go. Leave a comment about a friendship you've made. the most, the most elementary school question. Tell me about your best friend. But for real, you can do that. I would love to hear. I would love to hear some positivity. Friendships certainly used to be easier when you're in like elementary, middle school, because your best friend is just whoever sat beside you in like science class, or your best friend is just whoever the teacher assigns you with became your best friend. But nowadays, if you don't have those, and that's one of the things I was really struggling with too, is the fact that sometimes, especially in like a college atmosphere, it can seem and it feels like very and truly that if you don't already have your friends, you're not going to find them. Like people already have their cliques, people already have their friend groups. People commute, they come to school, they go home. So that's something that really is like, although it might not be true, like that's why I say like it really feels like that. Oh my goodness, I just dropped my brush. Yikes. Okay, we can fix that. We can fix that. But what was I saying? Yeah, it really truly feels like if you don't already have your friends from high school or like your friends, from somewhere else, that you're not going to find them at college or wherever else you go. But I have found some good friends. So that's some hope for anyone who's still feeling like that. I have certainly found some good friends. There we go. There we go. If we get this done in under an hour, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. Whew. I've painted this specific telephone pole or telephone tower once before. I did it from a much different angle. Um, if you've been watching for a long time, you might know the video, but yeah, I did it in a. Maybe I'll link it. I did it in a video where I was trying to do Inktober, and I was trying to see if I could do Inktober plein air. That was really fun. That was a long time ago, though. That was a long time ago. Okay. Whew. We're gonna be able to put in some of these telephone poles. Maybe we're gonna make them darker or bluer, cooler colored. I know some people really like to put in super thin lines with pencil, but I just feel like it kind of changes what's going on. Like it kind of makes everything look a little just different. I mean, maybe I would prefer it actually, but today we're gonna do them with paint. Add some little, add those. There we go. Whew. There's some lines on the ground for soccer, so we'll add those in. Let's see, mixing a dull green with red, green, and white. They're kind of faint, so let's just be delicate. Let's be particular. Oh, another thing. Okay, we're back on the loneliness topic. Um, I wanted to say this before I called it a day with the loneliness thing. Another thing that I feel like loneliness or like that state of being like not feeling like you fit in, I feel like it really disguises itself super well as, pride can disguise itself super well as like feeling like others don't like you, or like others wouldn't like you. I feel like if you feel that, right, and this is just my own perspective, um, in all my many years of life, my wise ways, but for real, I feel like sometimes when you think that, it's really because you have your own, or because I at least have my own thoughts about other people. So I like put that onto them about me, you know? So I think that's something I would like to work on as well with my own personal thing, is just cutting out the pride. Because one of the things I had to like keep reminding myself, when I was like really trying to put in the work, I actually feel like I want to congratulate myself too, because there was a period of time, like I think it might have been last year or a little earlier than that, where I was putting in so much work to make friends and stuff. I was putting in so much work. Like, oh my goodness, I was going to every event that even vaguely had anything to do with me or anything like my interest or anything. I was doing so much, and it it didn't lead me to being Zac Efron. Like, I'm not the most friended person in the world, but it did help me. Like, it did kind of change my perspective a bit on like what you can do, and not that not everyone dislikes you or thinks you're weird or thinks you're whatever you think you are. So yeah, like I feel like working on pride is something that could be helpful as well. Okay, let's put in these. These are very dark. Maybe not that dark. Let's see. We have two porta potties, portable potties that are right here. Boom. And boom. I'm gonna zoom in some more so you guys can see. There you go. I hope you guys can still see. Let's put these in. Boom, boom. Okay. I really hope some people walk by so we can squeeze them into this painting. But for now, let's get the porta potties in. I feel like there's so much I have to say about loneliness, but I feel like maybe we'll make another video talking about it, but I guess this is kind of all I really have to say today on the topic. But I am so passionate about it. It is something I really do care about. There we go. Let's put in little white signs. Boop. Put in the white signs. We could paint these people. There's people walking by right now. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe we can see them. They're walking a dog. Maybe we could put them in. Okay. I'll have to do that later. If no one else comes, we'll put those in. We'll put them in after the fact. That's pretty cute. A nice little family walking the dog. This red is going to be the star player right here. Let's see. Let's put it in. Boop, 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 boop. I think we need to go brighter on that sign and on the whole roof. Make that brighter white. Also, if you guys haven't seen, usually it's in the description of my videos, but I've been leaving it out lately. Um, my whole first book, the first book I wrote, which is so far the only book I have published, was kind of about loneliness. Not even kind of, it really was. It was definitely about like uh, feeling loneliness and like kind of accepting it, but also like the ending is sort of like once that door is open to you. A lot of times, at least myself, I still haven't taken it, like of fixing the loneliness. And so yeah, that's not really a lot of what the book is about, in like a roundabout cowboy sort of way, I guess. Okay, okay. How far? We have like, what time is it? Let's see. It is 11:25. I've been getting into analog watches, so now I've having to read the time all slow. That's okay. I don't mind that. I kind of like the what's it called? I kind of like the like little math game you play to figure out what time it is when you're reading like an analog watch. Because they taught us how to read analog watches or and like clocks and stuff, but it's just I'm so used to just seeing the time. Just it tells you what time it is usually, but I don't mind this either. I like it. Okay. There's another tree out front which I need to get to. We'll just put in the lights real quick. Boom, 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 boom. You know what? Maybe we'll make it like kind of boom, 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 boom. Kind of like that, because I want to cover that up. Okay, and then we'll go back in with mediums and the darks and the stuff, the lights, and get it all figured out. Oh, I forgot that I left a sentence unfinished, and I'm going to finish it right now. One of the things I had to keep telling myself, right, dealing with the pride stuff, is that you're not so different than anyone else. Like, everyone's special, right? But like, you're not that special to where you can't, to where you're so, you're just so special where nobody is similar to you at all. You know, that's kind of pride. That's like, but it disguises itself as like loneliness and stuff. Ooh, that's a kind of a not so pretty bush, but we'll get it figured out. I think I'll take a quick break real quick, and then I'll be back. It'll be like a second for you guys, not even. Um, let this paint dry, stand up, stretch my back. Okay, put some of this in real quick. Okay, let's take a break. Ah, whew. This is a tiny chair, and my knees hurt sometimes. Oops. Ah, okay. So yeah, guess we'll just hang out. Okay, guys. Alert, alert, there's a cool truck. What we're gonna do is save this as a picture. We're gonna save this as a picture, and then I'll put that in afterwards because I think I'm gonna go home in a bit. It's been a lot of painting so far today. All right, clean up, clean up. Everybody, do your share. Put this away. Put the brushes away. Put my water away. And also, I don't really know how to dispose of paint water. If someone knows, please let me know. I usually just, I won't say what I normally do because I don't know if it's legal, but I don't know. I don't know how to dispose of this stuff. So I think we spent like a solid, if I had to guess without checking the videos, maybe like 45 minutes right there. Tell me how accurate that was, I guess. Um, but yeah, we're gonna go home, spend another like 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes on the painting, round it off, and call it a day. Should be good. Should be good. Very blessed and thankful. I could chill out here for more, you know. I might bring my dog back here today because I feel bad. Sometimes I always leave. Um, I always leave to go to the park to paint, and I never bring my dog because I don't know how like good he'll be for the whole time. He'll like just sit down. He'd be a good guy, you know. I'm sure he would do good. I just don't want to risk him like getting antsy or getting bit by ticks or getting caught by a snake or something. No. But yeah, heading home. See ya. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of wrap up, I guess, the ideas I was talking about, and then put the finishing little touches. I already put in this truck that we were talking about earlier, but I think what we really need is like a middle value in between here, and then we need to put in the fence, and that might be it. But yeah, I think the overall idea that I wanted to get through with this video is that you are kind of the arbiter of whether or not you will be like, well, okay, I guess like what I want to say is that you're more in control of your situations than sometimes it feels like, to an extent, of course. But the idea that, you know, especially I was dealing with a long time ago, and you know what, even sometimes now I deal with, is that I'm lonely because something that I did or something like that, or that there's like other things holding me back. But um, that might be true, but also there's a possibility that if you just go outside and you put effort into meeting people, you certainly can. I feel like I missed a lot of things that I wanted to say because this is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, quite a long while. And so I guess I've gone back and forth about what to say on it, but I think that kind of summarizes my thoughts. You can put effort in, and it's valuable. It's like one of the best returns on your investment, you know, is to make friends. I don't have any grand plans with this painting. I think it looks okay. I think it's missing something at the bottom, like down here in this bottom quarter of the page. So maybe by the end of this, we'll see something else added on. I just wanted to kind of wrap things up. And yeah. All right, let's put in this fence. It's super thin. That almost makes me want to go with a pencil, but we're going to test our luck. We're going to see, not test our luck, we're going to see how fine of a point we can get. Let's see. To get like a really flat edge, sometimes I'll take my brush like this and I'll flatten it across the edge of the thing, and now we have a really thin brush. So let's see now how that looks. It comes like halfway through everything, but it goes above this. So, ooh, that's not gonna work. Okay, let's put it. Ooh, where is it gonna go? Okay, we can put it up here, but that's too high. We can put it down here, but that's gonna conflict with the line. In real life, it's a little bit higher. Let's see. We're gonna have to make it lighter if that's the case. Ooh, I don't know if I love that. I don't know if that was the right decision. That is rough. Okay, maybe this painting could have gone without the fence line. But what we're going to do is we're going to put in these little posts to see if that makes it more legible. Okay, there we go. And maybe I'll take a dry brush. Let's see. The wonderful thing about having a messy desk is you can just kind of make it more messy. So let's grab some of this and get it dry and see if we can't dry brush in some of this. There we go, not too bad. We'll sign it, and then I'll show you guys how it turns out. 3, 2, there we go. So there's the painting. I think it turned out okay. The video is a little all over the place. I don't know if I quite had any succinct thought, but this is it. I'm happy. If you'd like to watch a video that I think you would like, you can click the top one. And if you want to watch a video that YouTube thinks you would like, you can click the bottom one. And as always, I'll see you guys later.